Looks like recording's on.
All right. So happy Mother's Day, everyone. So first of
Happy
all, I'm
Happy Mother's Day
apologize
to
that
everyone too.
we're supposed to go live on Facebook, but there is some technical difficulties. So that's why we cannot go live. However, we start in recording in Zoom, so we'll post this in later. So I hope you will see later on that. All right. So first of all, I would like to thanks Mr. Monir Chowdhury to be here with me, and of course, I will tell details about him. Before that, I would like to let me introduce myself, and of course, and I'm Athar Hussain, and I'm real estate agent working for Keller Williams Atlanta. So what I do help people to buy, sell their property, and especially I do provide a consultant who wants to educate about real estate. That's what I do. And now I would like to introduce our special guest, Monir Chowdhury. And Monir Bhai has a years of experience as a mortgage lender with first option, and he has been helping people achieve their dream house or dream of ownership. um, you know and he's a very familiar face in our community, especially in Bangladeshi community. And so I would like to of course welcome Mr. Monir Chowdhury, and please say about yourself and what do you do as a mortgage lender, please.
Thank you, Adar. Thank you so much for having me. It's a beautiful Sunday afternoon. I'm glad that we're able to spend a few minutes over here to educate our home buyers, your prospective clients, current clients, and our future clients. It's a Mother's Day. A happy Mother's Day to everyone who will watch it either live or later on. We have utmost respect to all of our mothers in our lives. So happy Mother's Day to everyone. And then thank you so much for having me. Just to introduce myself, as Athar said, my name is Monir Chowdhury. I'm with First Option Mortgage. We are based in Atlanta, but we do business in 40 different states, 40 plus different states. We are a national direct mortgage company. We do uh, home mortgage. Basically, the mortgage banking is our business. We are uh, I'm one of the national branch managers, so we have access to all 40 states that we can, assist with the home buying process.
Awesome, nice. Yes, thanks for all the information you've given, Monir Bhai. So,
Of course.
basically, today our main concern and main agenda for our call. So we'd like to know some of some of the terms and conditions and all the things about mortgage. So let's say first question, basically when any new buyer or even whoever looking their investment property, so they have the same question. So can you please tell us what type of loans do you specialize in, and what are the pros and cons of this of each,
Sure,
please?
sure. So basically, we specialize for home mortgage for any 1 to 4 unit properties at First Option Mortgage. In some cases, we do more than 4 units, but those are not the huge percentage of the mortgages that we do. We do any agency-backed mortgages that you will hear terms like conventional loan, FHA loan, USDA, VA. So and then conventional has another categories of non-agency, and you'll hear terms in the marketplace that you'll say non-QM mortgage. But so a lot of these products they are
Sure. Can you go
I
ahead?
thought,
Please.
yeah, I apologize. I'm sorry. I think we got disconnected. I had a phone call coming. I tried to cancel that one out and accidentally canceled this out. So havoc of life. So where we were to get back to our topic that we were talking about, the type of loans that we do. We do basically in a short, if there is a mortgage for home, we do it. We pretty much cover any and all mortgage. I don't want to say 100%. I don't like
Okay,
to
okay,
say those
got you.
things, but pretty much we cover any home mortgage.
Sure. Thank you very much for your information. Um,
Absolutely.
I would like to go my next question. Actually, there is a lot of myths going on in our daily life, like especially uh, what are the common myths and misconception about mortgage loans, and how can a buyers should can avoid these things?
Yeah, I love talking about these because these
Right,
are there are many. There are many. I think we can do an entire session on mortgage myths. And I'll just mention few most common one. A lot of people think that they need 20% down payment to buy home. If you're buying a primary home, you that primary home that you're going to live in there, you don't necessarily have to have 20% down. You can have 3% down, you can have 3.5% down. A lot of people tend to think that they need excellent credit, above a certain number of credit score.
right, right,
That's not necessarily true. We bought homes for people who has a low credit, people with high credit, mid credit. Everyone has their own profile, and they will be able to qualify for mortgage. People tend to think that all interest rates are made equal. That's not necessarily true, unfortunately. It's a lot of information that you'll find in the web and out there. They're not necessarily, it may not fit you. So what I say is that you can have a lot of myths. So instead of trying to answer your questions, ask your professional. If you did not like the first professional's answer, then you can ask to another professional. So you're getting the actual information, the factual information that can help you. So we ask, and it's a free service that we provide for your client or yourself or anybody else that has these questions. We're not asking people that, hey, pay us money so we can give information. So if these informations are freely available, instead of getting wrong information or getting confused by a lot of information, ask your professional, ask your closest mortgage loan officer or broker, or ask your agents that, who can
right,
I
right,
ask? And then because you guys are professional, you're in the market,
right.
you know who does what, who has the proper information. So I would say that instead of making decision based on information out there, ask away.
Yeah, thank you very much. So I always say my client, just educate yourself, and also like make before make any decision, just go to the professional, and you will get your answer very quickly. Okay, so
Absolutely.
thank you very much for Manir, and then
Of
we
course.
go for next question. So nowadays, in housing market, a lot of things going on because of more, interest rate a little bit high. So can you please tell us in this situation in housing market, what impacted, how it impacted the availability of and terms in mortgage loans, please?
Sure. So I'll touch on the housing market condition a little bit, and I don't think the market condition directly affected the ability to get mortgage as much. But again, a lot of misinformation's out there, and market condition is very important for home buyers, or whether you're a home buyer, first time home buyer, or you're an investor. It's very important that how do you make a decision? When do you make a decision? Do you pull the trigger or do you not pull the trigger, or do you wait? And honestly speaking, this is one of the most dynamic industry. Okay, It's a data-driven industry. 1 month older information is not necessarily good in the next month. Markets are moving. It's changing. It's ever changing, right? So a lot of people will make decisions based on very old information or non-factual information. uh, as a professional, we use a lot of data. We collect data. We listen to the experts who has track record of following data and also predicting it, right? So market condition, what happened is last 2 years was great, right? It's
Exactly.
extremely busy because money was very, very cheap. This is the correlation between the market condition of the housing and the mortgage, is that when money was very cheap, we were able to keep very low interest rate.
Right.
Just like anything else in our life, the demand and supply drives up the price, right? And also and added to the fact that inflations went up to the point that it has, that affected the labor market, that affected the cost of material market. So all of that together drove up the price. And then, of course, the demand and supply. We had a huge crisis of inventory
Right.
in last 2 years. So just like anything else, if there was a home in your area that was available, instead of one or three, 15 people were trying to buy, and they were driving up the prices. And some of that was kind of like artificial, but just because of the competition. So it went up. But with the rise of interest rate, that competition tamed down a little bit. So we started to seeing the reality of the values and the prices. So in the recent time, the first quarter, I would say that it was probably slower. And then as the summer approaches, as the spring approaches, spring was pretty decent actually. And as the summer comes, market seems to be heating up because it took a little bit of time for people to accept the fact that interest rate that we received during the COVID anomaly time, that we're not going to get that. That was just once in a
Right.
lifetime type of thing.
Yep.
And we're going to have to accept the fact that money is going to be a little bit more expensive. And then interest rate seems to be ceiling in out. It's hitting the highest, as some of the industry leader tend to believe. And then when it will come down, and people will be able to look, you're getting into a 15, 20, or 30-year mortgage, right? So if you're in a 30-year mortgage situation, you could fix your mortgage when the interest rate do come down, by whether refinancing it or many other options that would be available. But by that time, people are understanding the demands are coming back up again, and inventories are becoming issues again. Our new builds are way, way behind the demand. So all
Yeah.
of that together looks like the prices are heading toward the higher direction again. So people are getting in the market and buy, and we're seeing a lot more mortgage application as
Yeah.
than
Yeah.
we've seen in the first quarter.
I agree with you. Yep, yep, my right. Thank you very much. Yeah, so because I have a very short time, so I would like to ask you more question and know more about from you, because there is so many questions from my client as comes up, like especially on first time home buyer. So when I ask them, they are ready. They said they're ready, but do you have your P approval letter? They said no. And so this is more important thing, without peer approval as an agent, I cannot proceed my next step. Even, so that's why, can you please tell us what is a peer approval, and what are the benefits of peer approval, and how to get a peer approval, please?
Absolutely, it's pretty simple, and then I know you guys always struggle with that, right? So you have a client that want to see a house, and you would like to go ahead and take them over, right? However, the moment that they go and see the house and they would like to make an offer, the other parties, the sellers, are involved in this too. So unless they're buying cash, they're able to show that ability to purchase that cash. their other parties are wanting to see their mortgageability, right? So whether or not they would be able to get a mortgage, at least a pre-approval or pre-qualification they have gone through. Otherwise, they don't want to engage into this, especially particularly because let's say they go in a contract, okay, for the seller, they would be holding this property off the market for whether 30 days or 45 days or whatnot, right? So with what confidence they will hold this property, take this property off the market on behalf of your client without even a pre-approval, right? So that's something that people are, I know it's a struggle. It's people don't really are not always thinking about this. So they just come in and they've been thinking about, maybe we'll get in the market, we'll buy. So they see a house and say, call Atahar and say, hey, we want to go see the house. And the first thing Atahar will say that, oh, do you have a pre-approval? Because even if we go see the house, if you like it and we're not able to put an offer, then what's the point? So we constantly try to educate our buyers that in your best interest that you would like to go ahead and get pre-approved, and it doesn't hurt, it doesn't cost you money. If anything, it just prepares you. And I'll take a little bit further, Atar. So not only that they would like to see a pre-approval, they would like to see the type of lenders they're working with. uh, the listing agents, they're qualified. They would like to make sure that they're protecting their clients. If they're taking an offer for a client that is working with lenders that are they have a highest amount of turn time, they have had a bad experience with, they don't have the track record, they're not professional, they're not communicating well, then they're not willing to take the offer. So that's we talked about myth, and this is another one that people will think that, okay, highest offer is always the best offer. That's not necessarily true, because if you are working with a great lender, you're bringing value into that. So that's really, really important. That's really important for our buyers to be educated and get that pre-approval. Go ahead and get a pre-approval before you go and see a home and put an offer.
Thank you very much, Monir bhai. I am getting so much information from you, and I'm so privileged and
No,
happy.
thanks for asking. You're asking a lot of
To
good
brought you
questions.
here, especially the things also as agent I should know, but we know not the elaborately the way I mean, you guys are professionals, so you know that about it. So thank you very much for your information. And
I will other before moving on to the next topic, I would really like to another thing that by asking for a good pre-approval, you are actually trying to protect your buyer, because you have to protect them through the contingencies, right? So they have to have appraisal contingency, they have to have financing contingency, that the moment that you go under contract, you will be asking for a deposit. They'll be writing their check. So these are real money that they're bringing on the table for a first time home buyer. This could mean a lifetime of savings for people that who are having their hopes and dreams, they want to buy. So it's our responsibility to protect them. So if they're writing a deposit or earnest money that we call in this industry, that we it's our job to protect that earnest money, to make sure that we have that certain amount of. So without a good pre-approval, without a connection of a good lender, that how do you protect that? So it's really, really important. It's important to communicate to them. So by asking for these things, we're not really trying to make it difficult. We're actually trying to protect them.
I absolutely agree with you, Monir bhai, that you have mentioned that choosing a lender, good lender or best lender is very important for your house, property buying or selling process, of course. So Monir bhai, I would like to go for our next question. So
Sure.
most of us know, okay, pre-approval, okay, so they went to you to get pre-approval, but they're confused what they do need. to get a pre-approval. So before you, before they should, proceed to you, they should at least know basic knowledge about what I do need for my pre-approval. Can you please explain us very little, short?
Absolutely. Yeah. Yep. So we try to make it as simple as possible, right? So we understand that, you know, just because people are you know, trying to buy a home, this should not be a huge task for them. But we still have to, we also have to do our job to make sure that like we said, that we're trying to protect them, right? So for pre-approval, all we ask is that you do have to fill out an application, because through that application we get to know you a lot more, that things that will be asked during the mortgage process. So we basically we give, and we give multiple options for the application. You can just call us. My office will take the application over the phone. It'll take maybe 10 to 15 minutes at most. We easily send out a online portal, a link that you can just go in. You can do it from your phone, you can do it from your computer. You can fill out the application and submit, and then it comes to us. And of course, we also offer that they're able to come into our branches. Okay, we have branch in many different locations. We ask them to just come in over. We can sit down with you for 10 minutes. We apply. So that's the application. So when we send that application link to you, we send you the document list. We try to make it very, very simple for you. We don't ask for more than what we need. We don't ask for less than what we need, what's necessary. So, and that's again, going back to the myth, a lot of misconceptions out there, right? So people think that everybody needs their tax return. One of the biggest myth that they need their tax return, not necessarily true. Okay, I want to make sure people understand, our viewers understand this,
Yes.
that there is a difference between tax return and W-2. W-2 is one page, tax return is a whole bunch of pages, right? So if you are a W-2 wage earner, okay, in most cases, we're not even asking for your tax return, not even just pre-approval process, throughout the loan process. We will probably be asking for just simple 4 pieces of information. We're asking, we're obviously we have to ask for your driver's license, okay, or any government ID, non-expired. We'll be asking you for your current pay stub. If you're a W-2 wage earner, we'll ask you for your last 2 years W-2 and a bank statement. So we make it as simple as possible for W-2 wage earner. For self-employed, however, they will be asked for their tax return. It is their business and personal both tax return, and we can get in the detail of that. So I don't want to bore people with the type of documents, but that's really like top of the list. It's really few items. So basically, we want an application, and we want those few preliminary documents that so we can go ahead and pre-approve you.
Yes, Monir, related this question. So do you guys run the credit history in this case, or not?
Another excellent questions, right? So we're gonna continuously talk about the myths, right? So people think that some people may think that just because I have an excellent credit, I have a mortgage qualification. Not necessarily true. Some people think that I have great income, automatically mortgage qualification. Not necessarily true. So in terms of running credit, we know that how important your credit is. We care about it just as much as you do. So throughout until we actually go under contract, we're not pulling a hard credit pull. We're doing a soft pull that gives us enough information and your score to be able to perform our job. But without pulling credit, we're actually hurting them. We're keeping them in blind. We're keeping ourselves in blind. It's not good. It's not good for anybody. So yes, we will pull your credit, but we'll do a soft pull that does
Right.
not affect you at all.
Okay, thank you very much, Monir. How about employment information? Do you really need this or not?
It's a very, very vital piece of information. So through the application, you'll be asked for your employer's name
Okay.
and contact information. We're not asking for anything else in the beginning of it. So if your employer is a national employer who reports to some of the national databases, we're pulling it from there, the employment information, but at least we'll have to know that they know who do you work for and whatnot, right? If they're some of the smaller companies, small business, or we have mom and pop companies, we're not stranger to them at all. So we just
Got
need a contact information, and then we'll do the rest.
Thank you very much, Monir. Right. So how can a buyers, I mean, improve their chances being approved for a mortgage? And what are the some common mistake to avoid during the application process?
You're asking a lot of good questions,
Thank
Athar.
you
So
very
I
much.
appreciate that, because the things that I love to talk about, I know we like to tell people that what are important. You're actually hitting them all. So uh, by applying for it, it's in itself that you are actually bringing information forward. So that way, myself, my team, we like to look at people that uh, we want to inline ourselves with your clients, that if they're trying to become a home buyer, okay, or a first time homeowner, we want to help you through the process. So we don't actually have a yes or no answers.
Right.
We try to come up with options that if your buyers are not qualified today, we would like to tell them that, okay, if they would be qualified from few months from now, what do they need to do? If they're struggling with credit, then we'd like to assist them with improvement of credit, that how that could work. If there's something that we could do, we'd go ahead and do it. We had or we will refer them to someone who can help them, right? So we
Right.
recently had a seminar, with
Right.
credit repair agencies, that whatnot. So when we need to deep dive, we'll go there. But in the meantime, if we can help, if their income is not sufficient at the moment, we can ask them that how long they need to wait. We can ask them, let them know that if they're self-employed, that what requirements, if there is any lack of, they can come back, when they can come back. If they have issues with their down payment, we can give them ideas, we can give them suggestions that how they can save up. So there are a ton of things that we
All
can
right.
help if we are allowed to, with the time, right? So if someone comes to us and say that, all right, I just saw a house, I want to buy it tomorrow. Yeah, there is a good percentage of people, they will qualify, because they've probably been qualified, right?
Right.
No problem for them. But there are people that they actually need to allow themselves the time and get prepared, so they can go ahead and get that dream home.
Sure. Thank you, Monir. Right. I just want to add one line here.
Sure.
So I mean, all I want, like, never, like, think that, I cannot do anything, or I just stop, something going on, like my credit is very bad, or I have not a really good income. I don't make, like, let's say 100,000 a year. No, it's not like that. That's why go to the professional like Monir Bhai. They will help you to, all the things, like, so that's why I always suggest people educate yourself, go to, I mean, professional, so they can help you with that. Okay. Thank you
Absolutely,
so much, Monir.
absolutely. And not only that we can, majority of the people who's never done this in their life, right? They
Exactly.
absolutely need professional help. A lot of people who's probably bought home, but you know how many times you buy home in your lifetime. So this process that we do every day, we come up with many different scenarios.
Exactly.
We situations that we are able to overcome. So we can definitely guide them through.
Thank you very much. Thank you so much. So, Monir, we want to go our next question. We don't have that much time. Still, we want to cover some question which is very important.
Sure.
However, we will do the same session with you, and of course know more about those process and everything. So I would like to go. The next question is, in home buying process, there is two cost is very important, especially for first time home buyer. They don't know about it. So closing cost and down payment. Can you just a little bit touch on those closing cost and down
Sure.
payment, please?
Sure. So two things. First of all, if you're buying home, and you, on a purchase transaction, you will have a minimum down payment requirement for case-to-case basis, product to product. So
Right.
there will be minimum down payment requirement. Closing costs are a separate cost, okay, beside from the down payment, that cannot be financed in the purchase transaction. Okay, so who pays that closing cost? Now, it could be between the buyers and seller. It could be just buyer. It could be just seller, or like majority of it by the seller. So it really depends on the situation, but there will be a closing cost. So closing cost has it itself can be categorized in many different categories, right? So there, I don't want to get too technical about it right now. I'm trying to make it simple, that you have your loan cost, you will have prepaid, you will have initial escrow, you will have your title cost, you will have your intangible taxes, you'll have transfer taxes.
Right.
So all of this combination, and then of course you'll have your escrow. So all combination of all of this, you'll have your closing cost. Not necessary, even though you need all these closing costs, not necessarily all of them are actually expenses that are gone from you, because the escrow amount, the reserve that'll stay in the account, that remains with the house. So we case by case we would go in the detail of it. Today we're kind of like keeping it high level, so I'm not
Right.
getting very much in the details. So we would get in the detail of that. During the transaction, we go line by line and we explain to our buyers that what closing cost belongs to home, but there will be closing costs
Right.
that cannot be financed. So in addition to their down payment, they have to be prepared with closing costs. I would say in a typical transaction, if your down payment amount is 3% or 5% or 10%, I would add another 2.5 to 3.5% of closing cost. You may not need all of that. You may need some of that. You may actually need some reserve that are not needed in the transaction, but you need to keep it in your account. So for that reason, it's the best of idea that if you have a down payment amount of whichever X amount that your mortgage professional will tell you, in addition to that, you definitely want to have approximately 2 to 3% in closing cost in your hand.
Right. Yes. Also, Monir, I want to add one more online only.
Sure.
Sometimes we as an agent, we can bargain with seller to get closing costs. So it's depend on the situation sometimes, right?
Yeah. It's totally situational, right? So
Yeah.
it depends that how motivated your seller is, okay? And does your buyer have a leverage in their offer? So in that case, you can demand some of those closing costs. So just like anything else, that when you're buying and selling, it'll be up to the seller whether or not you can ask for it, but it will, it's up to the seller. So depending on what other offer that seller has, they may or may not contribute to it. So we would say that be prepared with it. If you're able to get some of that money from your seller, that's great. You don't have to spend all of that, but being prepared with it would be the best of the idea.
Right. Yeah, thank you, Monir bhai. Monir bhai, I don't like to, spend not many question to ask you, because it's I know it's like so many.
No, please ask
I
away.
ask,
We're having a casual conversation, so
All right.
I'm glad you're asking things.
Yeah, thank you very much. So the last question, just formal question is like last formal question is what are the some most important factors that determine mortgage rate, I mean borrower interest rate, and how can buyers find the best rates available?
Yeah. Yeah, another excellent question. So when I was talking about mortgage myth, remember I said that not all mortgages are made equal. So interest rate has there are many different factors, okay? Number one factor is that the type of product, okay? Type of product being that if you're buying your owner occupied home, there will be a one level of interest rate, okay? If you're buying a home, it's a second home, that's a different interest rate. If you're buying an investment property, that's yet again, that's a different interest rate category. And then you are buying an investment property, but these loans are not agency backed. That'll be a different interest rate. So there'll be very many. Now, coming back to it, for let's say you are a home buyer, so your credit score will be one of the biggest factor that determines your interest rate and your mortgage qualification and the type of product that you can be in. So more, your credit score is a huge factor. Your amount of down payment that you're putting, that will
Also
dictate that
different.
what type of interest rate you have, whether or not you have, when you get in the detail of it, mortgage insurance and whatnot. So to keep it simple, that better credit
Yeah.
will
Okay, Monir.
probably give you better rates in
Right, right.
most cases, or
So all
better mortgage credit
exactly
product.
all I want to say, just go to any professional lender like Munir Bhai, so you can get more idea about it.
So
So
especially we look at the options, right?
mhm,
So and another thing is that it's not necessarily that interest rate that can save you the biggest amount of money. It's the type of mortgage that you'll have. So when we get in the detail of that, we'll explain, and
thank you very
there'll
much.
be an entirely different call one day.
Thank you, Munir Bhai. Thank you so much. Munir Bhai, thank you so much for being with us, being with me especially, and giving us
And it's been a pleasure. Yeah.
a lot of information. And I would like to do more session like that, and we want to
Yeah.
educate ourselves more, and because it's very important, in this era, I would say, in this situation time, like educate ourselves, know everyone, what's going on in the real estate market, how to do everything. That's why we need to go to the professional and know more about it. So I would like to thanks one more time to Monir Bhai, and I hope
No, you're very
enjoy
welcome.
your rest of the day and take care of yourself and with your family. And
No,
the last word
thank
I
you
want to
so
say,
much
Happy
for.
Mother's Day to everyone. And yeah, you can closing. Yeah, you can say your last word, Monir Bhai. Go ahead.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah. Well, no, again, thank you so much for having me, spending the time with me. It's a pleasure. This is what I love doing, talking about mortgage. We're passionate about it. We love doing what we do. So helping, whether helping our agents educate them, or buyers in the market. Absolutely, that just to make things easier for everyone. So again, thank